Welcome to Ending the Stupid Gender War. This show is only for intelligent, mature, non-ADHD, non-doom scrolling people only. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? What kind of complaints do we have today in the gender war between men and women? Let's find out. Are they going to be stupid points or valid points? I think I have a feeling for this one it's not going to be so stupid. We'll see. We'll see. That's kind of my prediction, though. We're going to be talking about things such as social media and how it affects relationships and men and women in general. So let's go ahead and start with the women first, with their number one complaint as far as social media is concerned. The prop, not a partner for number one. He's not my boyfriend. He's my photographer. Our entire relationship exists through a lens he holds at the perfect angle. He'll spend 20 minutes getting the shot of me laughing at a coffee, but can't have a 5-minute conversation about our future without checking his phone. Okay, look, let's go ahead and stop it really quick right there. Addictions are addictions. All of them are bad. There's no such thing as a good addiction unless you're addicted to your partner in a good way. That's the only... But I mean, and as far as love is concerned, this, no. If you guys are having anything together, coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, picnic, I don't care. Yes, please minimize to the greatest extent the electronics. It's called living in the moment, I mean, if you guys got something important to be monitoring, like a package delivery or some type of crisis is going on at the same time, I understand. But ideally, you guys should have each other's undivided attention. Ideally. Now, to be realistic, it's okay to check here and there, but it really is not a good idea to be checking on your phone, especially while you guys are eating. You guys are supposed to... See, that's the thing. Technology is not the problem. It's how you manage technology. You got to have discipline. A lot of people are out of shape because they don't have discipline. A lot of people eat the wrong foods, even if they're in shape, but they start eating too much of the wrong foods because they think they can get away with it. And then they end up getting slightly out of shape or maybe health conditions because they develop addictions that aren't healthy. Any type of addiction, other than being addicted to your partner in the name of love, well, it's a bad thing, right? All right, let's go ahead and proceed and see how bad this is, because already it sounds kind of bad. I'm not a person to him. I'm content. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Fortunately, I've never had this issue. With my relationship, social media, no. We talk about it sometimes, but not this. This is ridiculous. Wow, I'm just so grateful I never had such an issue. A living, breathing prop in the sitcom he's directing called My Perfect Life. And my only lines are to look happy and tag the location. Her point is that the pursuit of the perfect social media image reduces her to an aesthetic object, erasing genuine connection and replacing intimacy with curation. Okay, so this is obviously bad. Everybody knows it. I don't even have to go into great detail with number one. Let's go ahead and go to number two, shall we? Because I already said what I had to say about number one and the quality time, living in the moment, yada yada. The credit thief. He'll post the one banquet or the bouquet. He'll post the one bouquet he bought me in a year with the caption about being so lucky. Okay? Harvesting hundreds of likes for being a great guy. While I'm in the background quietly funding half the trips, planning all the dates, and managing his emotional meltdowns. Wow, this is a lot going on here. Kind of difficult to read here. Let's go ahead and give that one more shot. Harvesting hundreds of likes for being a great guy? Okay, so social media again. While I'm in the background quietly funding half the trips? Okay, but are you guys both pitching in for the trips, like half and half? Well, I need a little bit more detail for that one. Planning all the dates? That should be mutual. I mean, if he's completely absent-minded, that's just a huge problem right there. And managing his emotional meltdowns. Well, why would he emotionally melt down? Over what? Let's see if she gives more details. He performs minimal effort. Well, you're already describing that. For maximum public reward. And I'm stuck doing the invisible labor that actually sustains us. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe making important decisions, but you said you're funding half the trip, so I assume he's funding the other half? So the labor that actually sustains us. That's the only sustained one that I can see here. Getting no credit. He's not romantic. He's a PR manager, public relations, for a failing brand. Her point is that Instagram boyfriends use grand, rare gestures to craft a public persona of devotion, masking their actual lack of consistent private partnership and appropriating credit for the relationship's success. Okay, look, I get it. The guy he's not mentally sane. Okay, that's just really disturbing behavior there. The emotional meltdowns, what is that about? But, focusing, this is actually a huge problem. So this is probably the first biggest problem of the show right here in this episode. Because, yes, if you play a fake persona online and offline, you're somebody completely different. Maybe even a complete hypocrite. Yeah, I mean, there's cases where that's okay because you don't want any smoke from people online. I get it. I can understand that. But, people like myself, for example, no, I'll speak online like the way I speak offline. Now, granted, the content is more emotional in a very direct way because this is more informative content, more teacher-like, coaching-like, just lending my expertise in the realm of love and relationships. So offline, no. I mean, I'm going to be a lot more friendly and gentler with people who may be sensitive to such a way of expressing myself. But that's common sense. That's very obvious. How you present yourself online may be slightly different than how you present yourself offline. It depends on the scenario. But many times I will speak like this with friends. But the thing is, your word choice, the word salad may be different. It depends who you're talking to. In a group setting, yada yada. I mean, there's lots of different scenarios. So yes, if I'm giving advice to somebody offline, well, it depends. Do they want me to be very detailed? Do they want me to be very brief? Like, get straight to the point, don't beat around the bush. A lot of people do want me to, elaborate a lot so we can have like an hour-long conversation about something. So, yes, but this one is pretty despicable because obviously he's not being decent offline, according to her. A decent partner. He's being a total false persona, having emotional meltdowns. So if that's true, yeah, this is a horrific case. And I give the point to her, obviously. All right, so number 3, the comparison engine. His feed is a highlight reel that makes other men pressure their girlfriends and other women resent me. Okay, well, this is the worst one then, if that's the case. He creates insecurity and competition just by existing online. Meanwhile, our real life is a mess of silent treatments and unpaid bills he'd never post. Okay, well, this goes hand in hand with what I was saying about number 2. Now, this is personal. These are personal things, so he doesn't have to be telling everybody that he has unpaid bills and he gives his woman silent treatment. Obviously, he's not going to do that, and nor does he have to do that. But if these are real world problems, like she said, real life, offline, yeah, obviously they need to be addressed. What can I say? He's manufacturing envy for a life that doesn't exist. Well, but I mean, everybody pretty much does that for their online persona. Or if if they're being themselves 100% online. See, here's the thing. You can overshare your personal life and you can undershare your personal life, or you can strike somewhere in between. That's your own personal preference. You're free to decide however you want to present yourself online. There's nothing wrong with that. But as far as, extracting more information here from what's really going on offline, according to her, yeah, sure, now we all know, so we can judge, right? That's how that works. And I'm trapped inside the illusion, responsible for maintaining a smile for the camera while dying inside the frame. Her point is that the curated online presence creates destructive social pressure and unrealistic standards, forcing her to collude in faking a happiness that is absent offline, amplifying her isolation. Well, this is interesting, an interesting dynamic, because she's being greatly affected by what he's doing, representing their life online in a way that's just totally false. So, this cookie is going to eventually crumble. That's all I can say about number 3 and the rest of these, 1 and 2. You can't keep up such a relationship forever. You can't. And the people online are going to start to be suspicious. They're going to be like, wait a minute, where's your girlfriend all of a sudden? Wait a minute, how come she's frowning? How come she's not happy anymore? The chinks in the armor are going to start to show. That's as much as I'll say about the women's point here, for as far as social media is concerned. Let's go ahead and shift gears to the men, see what they have to say about it. The lifestyle liability. She's not a partner. She's a luxury subscription service. Her entire value is being photogenic to boost my status. But her maintenance cost, the designer bags, the 5-star brunches, the constant content creation trips, drains my accounts and my sanity. All right, so here's another horrific scenario, right? It's just all for show. Nothing sounds pretty sincere, according to this guy. I'm not funding a life. I'm funding her personal brand. And I'm just the anonymous producer in the credits. Yeah, so this is pretty bad, okay? It doesn't matter how hot she is, how intelligent, no, not intelligent, how smart she is as far as, college degrees, or what her income is like professionally, her career, how successful she is, how famous she is. This is not worth it, okay, people, when she's just with you for XYZ reasons, but they're pretty much just to either use or abuse you or both. Doesn't make sense, right? If you're just like a trophy husband or trophy boyfriend, yeah, just like, the points made by the women on the left here, it's equally just as bad. Nobody wants this type of relationship. She's a trophy, well, there you go, that comes with a lifetime of debt and demands. Yeah, so this is like a material girl by Madonna, right? In a material world. If that's all she cares about is the illusion of success, when that's not how it really is offline, yes. Even in the black and white days, way before social media was even thought of, or computers, yada yada, you had the housewife who's like, I have to cook the perfect dinner, we're gonna have guests, everything has to look spick and span, everything has to look perfect, and just pretty much having a borderline aneurysm over the preparations, when the guests were perfectly fine with just, hey, we just want to come hang out with you. You don't have to spaz out over every little detail. But she'll yell at the kids, yell at the husband, why did you guys say this? Why did you guys dress like that? Why did you do this? Just nagging because everything didn't go perfectly for the visit by the guests. You see what I'm saying? Fast forward to today, well, a lot of things are being filmed and published online. And I kind of disagree with that when it comes to your personal life. You should keep it private unless your business is centered on that, but your partner has to be 100% on board. Otherwise, it's going to be a failure. Like I said, the cookie's going to crumble. All right, so debt and demands. Nobody wants that. His point is that the modern trophy expectation is no longer just beauty, but a costly, high-maintenance lifestyle brand that he is required to bankroll for social clout, with diminishing personal returns. Yeah, so, this is not the thing to be obsessed with. If it's working on social media, there's a lot of couples who succeed in social media, but there's a lot who don't really succeed on social media. It just depends how successful you guys are. But if you guys are striking success, don't ruin it with problems like this offline. Because if you experience burnout, one or both of you, by the way, it will start to affect the relationship offline, and it's going to start to show online. People are going to become suspicious, like, hey, what's up with him? He doesn't look too happy, you know. And then there's a lot of people who just simply don't care. They'll be like, hey, your wife is hot, compliments and stuff. Hey, you're looking buff today. They really don't care. They don't even want to care because they don't want to know about your private life. So the partner really does have a lot to suffer from, either or, whether you're the man or the woman going through this type of specific case scenario. Sometimes you have both the man and the woman obsessed at the same time with social media, and it's like they're barely existing offline. They're so out of touch. Like, they'll even text each other while sitting next to each other. How ridiculous is that? Now, if you're sending funny things, through your iPad, iPhone, your smartphone, your smart stuff, I get it. It's kind of funny, but I mean, if it's chronic and you guys can't even talk to each other, you guys to the point where you're using electronics like your computer, your smart devices right next to each other, come on, people. I mean, how bad does it really have to be before you really start looking at just how bad the situation is? But a lot of people don't care, so what can I say? But yeah, we're going to have to continue with this. So diminishing personal returns, I got it. All right, so number 2, the emotional vacuum. She's so curated for public consumption that there's no real person left from me. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Every emotion is filtered. Every reaction is calculated. Yeah, nothing's real, right? Nothing's genuine, authentic. For its narrative value, trying to have a raw, real fight or vulnerable moment is impossible because she's mentally framing the shot. I'm dating a hologram. The woman I fell for has been consumed by her own avatar, and I'm left alone in reality with her ghost. His point is that the performance of a perfect life online requires the death of authentic emotion offline, leaving him in a relationship with a polished shell that offers no genuine intimacy or support. Yeah, we striked all the words right there. Yeah, genuine, authentic, the avatar situation. Yeah, absolutely. This is what happens when this is a high level of obsession, by the way. But a lot of people can have a fraction of this obsession, especially if there's lots of drama. That's why I try my best to avoid silly drama or debates, because I'll have a discussion, but I won't have a silly debate where it doesn't matter what I say. The other person's not even listening. They just want to, cry about it and hear themselves talk. It's not productive. You see what I'm saying? It's totally destructive or useless at that point. If you want, it's useless because if they have a channel of their own spewing off whatever they believe, which I disagree with, and I'm over here spewing off what I believe, which they disagree with, well, then at that point, what's the point of having a debate? Might as well just either go watch them, go watch me, or listen to me, listen to them. That's why I don't participate in that, But if they're genuinely interested in what I have to say to them personally and have a mature, intelligent conversation about it, without the ad hominems and all this other crazy, immature stuff, absolutely, let's have a discussion. That's why I created the show, Let's Talk About Love. It's an open-ended invitation, but hey, nobody's going to want to take it, right? Because, I'm a fair guy. And I understand that fear. A lot of people, they just want that drama because they're so immature. And this is an example right here where, you don't even recognize who you're with anymore. They're just totally just consumed by that illusion of who they think they are online. A lot of guys complain about this, but a lot of women complain about it too. So, yeah, it's pretty much equal. It's pretty much equal on both sides. So, yeah, so the death of authentic emotion offline. That's what this is all about. Number 3, the permanent audience, he says. Nothing is ever just between us. Every moment is lived with the phantom audience of her followers in mind. Yes, this is exactly what we've been discussing. The people online become way more important than that one person offline, or anybody offline. You get way too into the drama side and all the, the illusion of fame. You might have legit fame online, but come on, people. Once the power goes off, that goes bye-bye until the power comes back on. Think about that. Think about it. Our anniversary dinner, a private grief, a stupid joke. It's all potential content. That's very horrible, right? Even celebrations, you got to know when to put down the phone or the iPad or whatever it is. The camera, even just a regular camera. You can take thousands of pictures in a year. But how often do you actually go back and look at all those pictures? Then you got to back them up on external hard drives and then organize them, file folder management, that type of thing, which most people don't even bother doing. Think about what you're doing with your life. If you have your eyes constantly behind two screens or one screen, think about it, right? You want to savor the moment. Whatever happened to having unforgettable memories that you can actually use your own mind to remember, and you can feel what it was like. You don't need to record it, right? In other words, not every special moment needs to be behind a camera, right? You don't have to record everything and anything. It's okay to take a few pictures, a couple of videos, but learn how to put it down, right? And just have the rest of that memory in your mind. You will remember it if it's so special. And if it wasn't that special, okay, it might be forgettable for whatever reason. It's not bad. It's just, life is all about experiencing the maximum. But, not everything has to be recorded every single second. And, oh, you ruined the video. It just, there's so many things bad that can happen with electronics being far too involved in our lives, our day-to-day lives. What are we going to do? Have a constant 24/7 recording of everything? Some people record themselves while they sleep. It's like, you're going to actually go back and watch all that for whatever reason? Like, what a nightmare. Like, how far have we gone with, technology? Technology is not the problem. It's how far people have gone using technology for either all the wrong reasons or addictive reasons, which could be a wrong reason too, but it's more of an addiction. So it's not necessarily good or bad, but you're spending way too much of your life in it. So there's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to how we use technology. But technology by far is not the problem. It's a magnificent tool. Just like pornography or OnlyFans. Okay, those are things that people invented and they're thriving off of it. Some people like it, some people don't. Who cares? Freedom is freedom. They're tools. You can learn from them or you can enjoy them, entertainment, whatever floats your boat. But, that's not the problem. The problem are, the presenters, the viewers, the people, the content creators or whatever, are they being more productive than destructive? And to each their own. I'm not going to tell people to stop drinking alcohol or stop smoking. That's your decision. We should ban alcohol. We should ban cigarettes. I don't know how you're going to feel about that if you really like alcohol and cigarettes. It's not just that, by the way. Fast food, junk food, whatever it is. This has everything to do with this because many people, they think like this problem with this show is they're saying, oh, social media, it sucks. We need to throw it away. Like, that's going backwards. Social media can help a lot of people out there in many different ways. Social media is not the problem. It's the people, publishing things that are detrimental to our very own human existence for humanity. It's just, but they're free to do so. Learn from it, like it or, don't like it. It's up to you. But again, technology is not the problem, people. It's not. I can run somebody over with the car, but that's not what the car's for, right? Come on, guys. But anyways, let's see what he says here. Our intimacy has a third party, her feed. I can't tell if she loves me or loves the way I look in the Bali sunset photo. I'm not a man. I'm a co-star in the biopic of her amazing life. And I never agreed to the role. His point is that the presence of a perpetual online audience kills privacy, yes it does, and spontaneity, making him feel like his life and relationship are not his own, but mere material for her personal marketing campaign. Okay, so obviously these are extreme cases, all 6 of these. So there's not necessarily a battle here. Both are guilty. So this battle is it's a tie. It's yeah, there are no winners here. No, it's stale. It's a stalemate. There's no victor here in this battle. Both are guilty, men and women, of misusing technology when it comes to their personal relationships. I don't see one doing it more than the others. Sure, there might be more famous women on social media doing this type of thing, but there's a lot of guys doing the same thing. I see a lot of them actually. So yeah, there's no victor in this battle for today's battle. No, there's guilt on both sides. 100%, by the way. I don't say that for every show. This is a very special show where this is a mutual problem. In more aspects than what's presented here, more ways than just a few, that more than just the six that are presented right here. Like I mentioned with taking photos all the time, or calling people or texting people. Heck, when texting was just, way before social media, texting on those old Nokia phones or whatever, people got obsessed with texting. And then even way before that with the pagers, constantly, oh, my pager is going off the hook. I got to go get the phone, a pay phone or whatever. And then the cell phones came out, and you guys already know what happened. All the gaming consoles and the movies and it's just like all these distractions. You can't be a material girl or a material man. You guys gotta really live your lives organically. That means person to person, put down the damn devices and pay attention to what's supposed to be a loving relationship for an entire lifetime. Technology can get, problematic if you allow it to. And that's all I have to say about that. So, moving forward, shall we? That's all for today's show. Be sure to binge watch all of these awesome shows here. And if you want to be a special guest speaker on my show, Let's Talk About Love, go become a free member on my website first. It's totally free, payhip.com, your quest for love. And we'll go from there. The messages are right there, instructions. Much love, everybody.